All right, this is David Priest, the Metal Priest, and we are here at Immortal Fest Part 2 in Versailles, Ohio. At the end of the night, we're here with Lary Dean of the band Trytan, and this is my first time seeing you guys tonight. Many years have passed. I've wanted to see you. I've been a fan, and I'm really glad to have gotten to see you, and I was very impressed. I know you're saying that your voice was a little tattered, but bro, nobody noticed but you.
Man, dude, thank you.
I mean, yeah.
That gives me some peace, and I'm just thankful that I know the Lord touched some hearts, and we did what He called us here to do, and just humbled and honored to play with all these amazing musicians, these amazing bands, like legacy Christian artists, like the Sacred Warrior guys, and Rex Carroll and White Cross, and Les Carlson, and I'm overwhelmed by the response, and just thankful that it's so, that I don't know if it was a grace, and maybe what I was hearing was not what you were hearing, and maybe a God thing happened. I don't know, but either way, I'm humbled and I'm so thankful. And this was really extraordinary for us on a lot of levels. But bro, thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you guys for coming out and playing. I mean, just like I said, it's been a long time coming. I was very kind of taken back by your setup. Okay. You've got all kinds of gadgets up there surrounding you. You got to explain, I mean, what all this is, because there was talk backstage with the apologetics guys, and everybody's like, "What is all that?"
Yeah. So, okay. So, I can answer that, David.
I hope so.
So, I would say the first thing I could say about that is, the Blood of Kings album was kind of our. I didn't want to write anything. I didn't want to restrict my vocals because I wanted to have a certain rhythm. Where on the first two albums, I quite a bit, I would maybe want to do something different with the rhythm, but I wouldn't be able to sing it and play it. So being kind of like the Rick Emmett of Trytan, singing and playing the rhythm guitars, because we're only a three-piece band. So I did Blood of Kings, and I wanted to kind of break that barrier and just, okay, man, I want to do this on rhythm, and I didn't care how it affected being able to do the vocal live. And as you may have recognized, we only did 3 songs off the whole almost 80-minute long Blood of Kings album because of that reason. And to do Blood of Kings properly, I would need Eric Gillette to be on the stage, because from the keyboards that he did, the back and forth stuff that him and I did, there's a lot of keyboards. It's very Dream Theater-esque in its keyboard element. So, when we started to think about, okay, what are we going to do? Because if I can get Eric, and he's in Temic, he's in the Neil Morse band, he's played with Mike in the Shattered Fortress project, first guitar on that. So Eric, he actually just played Romania this past Friday, night 1 of Immortal Fest. He was in Romania with Temic, his new band. And so all that to say, I knew that in the likelihood of Eric being able to get on a tour with me, he might be able to do some one-offs in the future, but I was going to have to do more of a guitar-driven set. So, having said that, going back to some of the older material, which I really felt good about doing, because Celestial Messenger really connected with a lot of people. And being the singer and the guitarist, I have I guess it's, maybe a little bigger than average pedal board, but then I have a little auxiliary board with the looper on it, where some keyboard stuff that I programmed in. I just hit the switch, and it kind of during the Rush medley, there was like a low synth sound washing through, So I have stuff programmed in there, and then I went down to EKG, Eric's studio, and I spent a day with him building the live tracks for Genesis, Rip Van Winkle, It's War, and the Godstorm for live. So having the iPad stand and the auxiliary board, and then I built that long stretcher so that it could just be lifted off, everything unplugged and just lifted off and taken off the stage in one piece, rather than having to break it all down. So I suppose it's like the guitar pedal board, the vocalist pedal board, and then the iPad stand with the live tracks, and then I had truth be told, I had a whole screen that I had all the lyrics to all the songs, plus notes in between the songs, because he wanted to be very concise. Because they gave us 1 hour, and we timed the set 3 times in the final rehearsals, and we were first time 1 hour and 3, then we were 1 hour and 1, and the last time we got it under a minute, under an hour. And so it was very helpful to have all that stuff on the iPad. So that's why I got that big spread in front of me. But it's really 3 different things just on one platform, so we could strike it all at one time.
Cool. What's the aluminum foil?
The aluminum foil. So that's the auxiliary board. So that has my wireless mic on it, the receiver, and it has the looper with some synth stuff that are patched in, and I can add to songs, in which we did quite a few times. And then the vocal harmonizer, because we did a lot of harmonies particularly on Blood of Kings, so Shadow Racer and Revelation songs, John Elefante and Eric and Ray Parra. So I actually thought I was going to have to do that song by myself tonight. So I like to have the harmonizer, because I just tap it. And my keyboard section, so I have my guitar pedal board is my Fractal Audio AX8, which is all my crunch metal and lead harmonies on there, and all my different electric guitar sounds. Then I have a B system that is all my acoustic simulator stuff, and then have a C system is all my guitar synth stuff, like for Mr. Electric, and I used it in like half the songs I used, like there's a keyboard in there. That was my guitar triggering a synth pedal. But the C9 synth pedal goes into the looper, and it gives it the key that it's in. So it lets it know what key I'm in. So when I hit the looper, it's doing a harmony in the key that we're playing in. Okay. So the aluminum foil was to keep the power packs, because I wanted it to be small, and I just put it on top of the wireless, and the antennas came up, and so I wrapped it in foil so that the electrical current wouldn't cause interference with the antennas.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Wow, that's involved, man.
When you do it systemically and you kind of build it like one section at a time, it's simpler. But knowing we weren't going to have Eric or any keyboardist on the tour, I built up the synth, the guitar synth stuff, and we keep doing the live tracks and stuff like that. So it looks pretty involved, but it's really just 3 pretty simple systems.
Ray didn't come out and sing with you, did he?
No, he didn't.
I thought he might, but I didn't think I saw him there.
I would have loved to him. I would have loved for him to do that, because he's all over the new Emanate album that we have coming out. But I also didn't want to overwhelm him, because he sang Worldview last night, Sacred Warrior this night, and he has really been dealing with some health issues, and I didn't want to run him down. Gotcha. So it's like, dude, if you want, I said, dude, you want to sing, but I want you also to feel very free to say, no, man, I don't want to overextend myself. And so he said, hey, dude, listen, if you can cover it, that's why I had my vocal harmonizer. But then Jim is friends with Crystal, and he's like, hey, man, she's from the Sanctuary Band, and this girl has a strong, like, Ann Wilson voice. You want her to do it? I'm like, yeah. So she came in here right in the RV, and we worked on it yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And then she came, and it was the last thing we worked on in her soundcheck today, and she just crushed it.
Yeah, we were making jokes that she was on stage more than any one band.
Right, yeah.
Because she backed so many of them up. So
exactly. Yep.
Well, you mentioned Emanate, and that's the next question I was going to ask you, because I was really, really hoping that you would do My God Bled.
It was on the set list. Okay. I can show you it's crossed off. But when we timed the set, it would have run us like an hour 10. I cut the Godstorm in half, and we cut out My God Bled. And I would have loved to have done that song too and promoted the Emanate album. That was the plan initially, but
you just dropped another single on that one too.
Yeah,
right?
My God Bled and You Are Good.
Yeah.
And honestly, David, I'm very excited about the Trytan stuff, because I do the Trytan and Emanate stuff in cycles. So I had a Trytan cycle where we recorded Blood of Kings, and I did a bunch of PR work and interviews and stuff like that. Then I kind of switched to finish writing and arranging all the Emanate stuff. So I was down by EKG by Eric, and we did that album, and got all my stuff done. We had like 8 super phenomenal guest artists on the album, and actually PJ Bostic, it did percussion on You Are Good, and he's also singing in 2 of the other tracks, and then some huge monster artists on there. And so now that we checked the box on Immortal Fest, sort of shift back to focusing on the Emanate Among the Nations album. All my stuff is done. I'm just waiting on 3 guest artists to get tracks into Eric and me, and we'll wrap it and release it. There's one more single that'll be dropped on the digital market, and then, so it's September 1st today. So man, I'm really hoping by the end of October we can get it done and released. So
I've been playing it on my show, on the radio every week, so trying to keep it in rotation as much as possible, and include the new one in there too. So that's good. I'm just glad you're putting music out, man. Yeah. Of course, a lot of people want to know, after Emanate, you're going to go try and do another Trytan album, or? That's
the plan right now. Honestly, touring wise, what I think would be ideal for us, David, is we'll keep doing cycles. So right now I'm going to head into a Trytan cycle as far as the album is concerned, writing, but we're going to go back into all the PR and interviews and stuff for Emanate, and I really would love Emanate to get on the road, and it's much easier on my voice, and it's really my heart. Praise and worship. It's like Dream Theater meets Hillsongs, with a twist of Blue Murder and Joe Satriani. And it's like, really, the label I'd give it is celebration outreach, like praise evangelism. And so we'll focus on getting the Emanate album done and out, and then the writing, the sessioning, and composing will be about Trytan, Heart of the Dragon. And then hopefully doing some Emanate live shows. And I think Trytan would be more geared for doing like one-off shows like this, like maybe some festivals throughout the summertime, or maybe we can string some shows together with Sacred Warrior, maybe go to Europe and do a week and a half or something, and more shorter stints. Where Emanate, I would love to get on like a long tour and open up for like Skillet or somebody, Now
it's funny you mentioned that, and because so this is where I'm going with it. A week from last night in my hometown, there's a festival in California called Grace Fest, and for the first time ever, they're having a hard rock metal band, Skillet, headline it. It's always been Chris Tomlin and Matt Redman or Jars of Clay or Newsboys or something contemporary,
or CCM.
All the worship stuff and all that.
Right.
So they're really testing new waters here. They've got some rap artists on there as well.
Nice.
But I was just thinking that, well, when this album launches, this would be the perfect combination of that hard rock and the worship stuff to do that. So we need to stay in touch, because I'll put you in touch with the people.
Please do, bro. I'm gonna hand you my cell phone number right now. There it is, bro. Mine's the left, the 512 Austin, Texas number.
Okay. Yeah, just the fact that you said Skillet, that you would go to a Skillet, and I'm like, well, not that they're going to be there next year,
right?
But it would be good to have you guys on the bill.
Neighborhood. It's the arena of thought, and I love it, man.
They could follow it up a year later.
That's what I'd love to do. I'd love to do music that drips. And when Eric and I recorded the Emanate album, we just wanted it to drip musically and be passionate. We brought in Asheray. She's got an Evanescence type of voice, and like I said, I don't want to. We have some awesome guitarists that guest on it, some awesome singers that guest on it, some repeat performances, and I think this album, I'm excited about it because, bro, it's the praise and worship genre, but it's also metal, prog metal, classic rock. We're covering Andre Crouch's Soon and Very Soon, and we're doing kind of a Joe Satriani like
Yeah.
like with multi-vocalists and some great singers on there. It's going to be cool, man. But yeah, let's stay in touch, and I'm trusting the Lord to open doors, like you said, and you said it so well, where it's like, it's praise and worship, it's vertical, but it's music that it's excellent, it's passionate, it's full. The guys play on it like crazy. I mean, the chops, the riffs, the compositions are every bit Blood of Kings.
Yeah.
It's like a whole album of Revelation songs.
Yeah. Right
And
on.
so I'm excited about that, bro. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I hope you're not sorry that you mentioned it to me, because I'm going to be bugging you.
No, man, no. I want to see it because right now, like I've been telling the other groups that I've been talking to tonight, it's like California is a bad place. It's in a bad place right now. I mean, with all the political climate
Right.
and all that, and the wokeness that's going on. You
Yeah,
mentioned that tonight too. Bands cannot get. I mean, it's amazing that Skillet got a gig.
Right.
Honestly.
Well, they're Skillet.
And I've seen Holy Name played, but like bands like Petra can't get a gig in California.
Wow.
The churches have all closed their doors. The clubs won't let anybody that's a Christian. I mean, Stryper, my band opened for Stryper the last 2 years there, and it was rough to pack out a small venue like the Whiskey. And
Wow.
I mean,
Man.
and they're one of the bigger name bands, but they can't.
Right.
It's tough for
Yeah, probably the
anybody to get
biggest,
there.
probably the most popular Christian metal band is Stryper.
Yeah.
And I'd say CCM rock, Skillet.
Yeah.
But brother, let's make that a matter of prayer. I really feel like, there's strongholds. The guys and I were talking earlier about, the polarization. In fact, Trytan, on the Heart of the Dragon album, we're going to do a song called Polarized, and it's how polarized things are. Left and right, liberal, conservative, and in the church, man, Arminius and Calvinists, it seems like there's such a rift, and I believe it's demonic oppression and demonic infiltration, and what did Christ say? These kind only come out by prayer and fasting.
Yeah.
And so when that kind of stuff is going on, the church needs to fast and pray and allow the Lord to precipitate a breakthrough through us as we're praying and just tuning into His heart, man.
I agree. Division is the number one weapon of the enemy, I think.
Amen.
So,
In marriage,
yeah, I see
in
it.
families, in churches, in businesses. Yeah, man. We'll trust the Lord to do something cool and break that bondage in California. And maybe I don't know, I feel like with the election coming up, if things go how I think they're going to go and how a lot of people think they're going to go, sadly, I think things are going to get worse on that level, which is why we're going to need to pray and fast even more and just be tuned into the heart of God about how do we demonstrate. We might not see things the same way, but we can talk about it and still be in relationship and love each other and care for each other even though we have disagreements. That's what the love of Christ can do and wants to do. We just need to, have a heart for it ourselves.
Right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Larry. It was a pleasure speaking with
sir.
you.
I'm sorry
and-
you had to wait for me. And,
No, it's worth the wait.
Everything's so
all good.
spastic, with running around and packing up gear, and we had to get Tom, the keyboardist from Sacred Warrior, lent us his bass because Jim flew up, and Tom and I live near each other in Illinois, and I was able to pick up the bass so we could rehearse with it last week, and he actually played it in the show, and we needed to get it to Tom, and so that and 13 other things that happened. But thank you for your patience, man, and I
it's all
appreciate
good,
you so
man.
much, man.
It's all good,
God
brother.
bless you guys.
Thank you. All right. Lary Dean, Trytan, Emanate, and the Metal Priest. Peace. God bless.